Number 16 asks, what is the vertex of the graph of the following equation? Remember, the vertex is the turning point of a parabola. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this into my graphing calculator as such. 3x squared plus 6x plus 1, hit graph. This point right here where the graph goes from going down to going up, this is going to be my lowest point. So what I'm going to do is hit second trace, which takes me to calculate, go to the minimum option. I'm going to move my cursor to the left of that lowest point, hit enter, move my cursor to the right of the lowest point, hit enter on when it says guess, and it tells you your lowest point is negative 0.9, repeating negative 2. The calculator does this sometimes. This basically means negative 1. So negative 1, negative 2, choice 1. Number 17, they give you a rectangle and they give you the length and the width. They ask you to find the diagonal. If you notice in my diagram, it looks like a right triangle situation with a leg, and then a hypotenuse. So what I'm going to use is the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem says 48 squared plus 40 squared equals the diagonal squared. 48 squared is 2,304. 40 squared is 1,600. We'll call the diagonal x. Their sum is 3,904. What I'm going to do to solve is I am going to square root both sides. I put this in my calculator and I get 62.48 rounded to the nearest inch. This would be 62 inches because the tens place is less than 5. Choice 2. Which graph represents the solution of 2x minus 5 is less than 3? If we were to solve this just like an equation, you get x is less than 4. Remember, you're going to use an open circle for the less than, so we'll do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You do an open circle on 4. This is saying all x values that are less than 4, so we have to point in this direction that all these values are the solution. It looks like number 1 is our best choice. Number 19, Jonathan drove to the airport to pick up his friend. A rainstorm forced him to drive at an average speed of 45 miles an hour, reaching the airport in 3 hours. Well, if we want to figure out how long it took him to get home driving 55 miles an hour, we need to figure out how many miles he drove total. 45 miles an hour for 3 hours gives me 135 miles. So if he drove 135 miles, I want to figure out how many hours. So I got to divide it by 55 miles an hour. 135 divided by 55 gives me 2.45. Rounded to the nearest tenth. I look at 4, the tenths place. Notice the next number is 5 or above, so this is 2.5. Choice number 2. Number 20, they want you to simplify the fraction. In order to add, you need like denominators. The least common denominator between 5 and 2, the least common multiple is 10. So what I'm going to do is multiply this side by 2 over 2 and this side by 5 over 5. 2 times 2n is 4n, 2 times 5 is 10, 3n times 5 is 15n, 2 times 5 is 10. Add these together, you're only adding the numerators, you get 19n over 10. Choice number 3. Number 21, when x is 4, evaluate this expression. I'm going to take this number and substitute it into these locations so that it looks like this. 2 times 4 to the 0 plus 4, we're going to say factorial. Remember, any number to the 0 power is 1. 4 factorial means to do 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. You want to do all the numbers all the way to 1. Therefore, if it was 5 factorial, you would do 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. 4 to the 0 is 1. 4 factorial is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is 24. 24. 2 times 1 plus 24, you should get 26. Choice 3.